mum, by the way.
I think it's two dads. You can have
My
two
mum
kids.
literally finds it hysterical still, by the way, the fact that you were like, hold on, you've got two dads, Rob. And she literally, my mum cries of laughter all the time. She's like, just Pete and Ray, just like together. And literally, she cries of laughter. I never thought about people thinking that Rob's two dads were together. She's like, and it drives my mum and that to hysterics, thinking that
In fairness,
them two.
we're in a modern life, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
And it didn't sound weird coming from you, my two dads. It's like,
Oh,
that explains a lot.
played with the shaft. Where's my phone gone?
Hello, welcome back to another episode. Next time.
Be professional, mate.
Ready.
This episode, I'm going to hand over to you, right? You're going to ask me some questions.
It's dangerous, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, good luck.
Yeah.
Over to you.
So first, before I think it would make more sense for you to try and give a quick summary of how you became a counsellor.
Yeah, your journey from.
Just, I mean, obviously, we don't want the ins and outs because that's too long. But,
Yeah. Thanks.
but you know what I mean. Just a quick summary of
Of why or how.
Or maybe we'll start with of what you did to get to where you are, maybe.
Yeah.
And then our next question can kind of be, where did the drive come from? So the first question of like, so obviously you was at school, you was at uni. What did you do? What then charities have you worked for? What places have you been? That kind of thing.
So I guess I have. The cat's playing with itself.
He'll do anything to avoid a question.
Go.
I guess I've kind of had to start with of the fact that I've always wanted to go into this line of work. I've always had an interest in people. I've always had an interest in people telling stories. And I've always enjoyed being a listener rather than a talker, I guess. So kind of my journey into being in this profession, if people are interested in it, I guess I didn't really go into it. I went into it quite late, actually. So I went to uni, did social sciences, which covered a lot of different subjects, psychology, sociology, social politics, social ethics, and all that kind of stuff. And then after my degree, I then wanted to go into like the counsellor training. The places I was looking at to go into that kind of course, they kept telling me I have to get life experience first because I was only 21 at the time, which is fair enough. So from that, I then went and did a master's degree in sociology to try and kind of fill that time. And while I was at uni, I was working for the youth justice team in the area. So working with children that are entering the youth justice system or coming out of the youth justice system, and that kind of job role changed. And then I was kind of working with children's services. So I was always kind of in and around the role of being like mentors and in a sort of not a counselling capacity, but more of a mentor kind of role until a few years down the line where I felt like I'd had enough experience of that, and then sort of went into the counselling qualifications, doing my levels, and then eventually my diploma. So I was always in and around jobs. Social services. I worked for young carers charity as well, and then I went into domestic abuse charity. So I've always tried to work in the same kind of role but different areas. I like to see myself as like a jack of all trades kind of therapist that has knowledge and experience of lots of different areas. yeah, I feel like a breadth of knowledge is always
Yeah.
better than kind of something very specific. And yeah, so yeah, did obviously the qualifications and then the hypnotherapy, which I've kind of talked about a little bit before as well. And this is where I am. This is where I've always wanted to be, having my own kind of practice and working.
How many charities do you think you've worked for?
1, 2, 3, 4.
What's that called?
I've worked with 4. I'm currently working with one at the moment, which is the Making Miracles charity, which I've worked, which I've spoken about before. And I might have a couple of other little bits and pieces in the pipeline as well, potentially in the future. Yeah, I want to. I think my aim as a therapist is always to try and help as many people as possible. I enjoy working with young people. I do enjoy working with adults as well, and I think that's only been over the last, how long I've been a therapist now, 3-4 years, where I've really worked with adults a lot more.
Yeah.
But yeah, I enjoy as I said, like the kind of the breadth of the people that I see. I don't want to necessarily be a therapist who specializes in anything too much, even though I probably do have specialisms of maybe like domestic abuse or working with children is a specialism in its own right anyway.
Yeah.
That might change in the future though.
Yeah. I suppose once you've had a certain clientele for a long time, you might realize your passion goes one way.
Yeah.
So that's the way you may go.
Yeah. I feel like I'm slowly working towards that with men's mental health, which is one of the reasons why I started doing this podcast, is because I have seen a fair share amount of men in the client room, and they always tend to very generally bring very similar issues or topics. And I think that's something where maybe in the future I still have an element of imposter syndrome for myself, that I'm not quite there yet, of where I want to be, or not quite experienced enough, which is probably not true. I do have a lot of experience, but I think where I've got into this role fairly young, considering on my therapy courses, everyone that was training I was always the youngest in all of my groups, by a few years. So there's always been an element of that kind of imposter syndrome kind of feeling.
Yeah.
Is that backed up by sort of, have you ever had comments about being a young counsellor or therapist?
Not really. I've always had comments about being the only male in some of those settings. So I wasn't the only male in my training, but the numbers were stacked against. I think there was I can't remember off the top of my head now. I think there was 12, maybe more, 12 to 15 of us when I was doing my counselling training, and 3 of us were blokes. The others were all female.
Tell me about that school story. You went for an interview once?
Yeah, I went for an interview once at a primary school to be a family liaison officer. And one of the interviewers, I think she was a trustee, she was an older lady. And basically one of the questions was like something along the lines of, how do you think parents would feel coming up to you being a man, like talking about their kids, or like something like that. It was very much like, and she said, or something like, with you looking like that with your beard, and or something like that. It was very much, and that really put me on the back foot. I wasn't expecting that, but yeah, I've always been.
Do you think you're approachable for the fact that you're a man? And
something, yeah, it was something along those lines. It was really stupid. I think I gave her a bit of a sarky answer back, I think.
Good.
Yeah, but I've always had that, really, even in all the jobs that I've been in, even learning. So like I did sociology for GCSE, right? I was the only lad in the class. Everyone else was female.
Does that give you more drive?
Just turn up to classes, yes.
yeah. You learn a lot about women, over there, especially at that age.
Yeah.
But it was always been a thing. I was always the only male in the roles that I did. Working on, I was the only sort of. I wasn't actually. There was two of males when I worked for under the children's services team. And then I moved in my next role after that. I was the only bloke. I've always been the only bloke in a lot of my roles, or one of few. In the last kind of job I left, I was the only guy in a team of 10 or 12.
Did that influence you in any way, being the only man? Or male, sorry.
I wouldn't say it didn't influence me. I think it had an impact on me that I was always quite quiet. I've always kind of had that reputation in work that I'm the one that sits back and is quiet and only speaks when I feel like something needs to be spoken about. And I think that's given me a lot of confidence, I think, because the amount of experience I've had, I've started to become more sure of myself and what kind of needs to be done in certain roles. And it's given me the drive to kind of become self-employed and do this for myself. It's given me a lot of confidence in that way. But yeah, I think the imposter kind of stuff still plays its part in the background. Looking at other people who have got obviously a lot more experience than I have, but
they only got there because they've done what you've done.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I do feel a lot of drive to make a difference, and to not one of the other reasons doing this as well, and sort of focusing on men's mental health, is to try and learn as much as I can while doing this. And I feel like I've learned a lot doing this. Even I talk to you guys day in, day out, most days, but I still feel like I'm learning a lot. So I kind of want to share that.
Because we're brilliant.
Yeah, you are.
Do you think that being a man, being a male counsellor gives a different edge to a majority of other counsellors that seem to be females, in the sense of you can approach you have a different understanding of how something can affect a male? Do you see what I'm trying to get at?
Yeah, definitely. I've definitely had clients in the past come to me because I'm a male, and that's just not male clients, that's female clients as well. They come to me for that different perspective, or for a different perspective on maybe what their relationships are like, or trying to understand that male perspective. And even that has a massive effect in the teams that I've worked in as well. You know, I've been sat in team meetings in the past where I've spoke to you, Rich, about stuff in the past where everyone's kind of talking, and I feel that moment to kind of pipe up and go, actually, you got to think about it from this kind of way. I've never done this much talking. I need to drink.
That cough that I've got rid of yet.
It's just a dry throat. So yeah, it does have a massive influence, I think being a male.
To kind of put a rounding on that, I guess. When I worked at a school, the one thing that everyone always said was the kid that I was primarily looking after said he works great with you because you're a male. And even when I then done like some after school clubs and stuff, again, I got such a good reaction from kids because primarily it's just a female dominated area. So obviously when you talking about the children that you work with and stuff, I can imagine you got good feedback from them, and I'm assuming their parents, I'd hope.
I think as well, say like from school, I think quite often there are a lot of children out there that don't have a father figure or a good one, which I think we spoke about in a previous episode. So I think, like as a teacher, there are a lot of children who I need to not be a teacher, I need to be that father figure. And I can imagine you might get a lot of, we'll say, clients in a way who need some form of male voice, and that's going to really being a good male voice that you are, it's going to really hit home.
Yeah, I think it's also modeling vulnerability
Yeah.
to kids as well. There's a lot of young lads I've worked with where building up a relationship with them where they felt comfortable enough to cry and to show emotions or to feel angry in front of me, and for someone like myself to respond to that in a way that's okay, like
Yeah.
that's like, it's safe, it's fine, you can cry if you want to cry, I'll cry
Yeah.
with you, like I'm not afraid to do that. And a lot of kids that I work with have never had that kind of modeled for them.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do feel like I get a lot of good feedback from that, and
Yeah.
you know, some, as you know, Rob, there's a lot of kids out there that are hard to reach.
Yeah.
But the ones that you do, they make the biggest impact, and
Oh,
hopefully you'll be remembered. Not
That could, well,
bothers me,
it's like hopefully you'll be remembered, but I know that those children will be remembered, kind of thing, and there will be the challenges that they are facing are challenges you take on yourself,
yeah,
because you feel it with them.
yeah. There's something quite
humbling about it, but also
that's the word.
driving, it makes you driven as well.
Yeah.
Like it's something that the jobs could be so easy to just be like they're just too much because they are too demanding, or the cases you're dealing with are so just like never ending.
Yeah.
You'll have the same stories, but it'll be for different reasons or whys, and it's just as upsetting.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can't stop helping them because they need someone.
They just want to be listened to half the time, and no one.
Or just have something. Even if maybe like, because like mine obviously is less come and talk to me, but just to be looked at, or just to be have a space to do something, something that isn't them having nothing or them having something taken away from them. Space, time, possessions, emotions. Yeah. I think we all have emotions inside, and I think all of us, we wouldn't know how to fully express everything we feel. And people who need therapy or children have got it locked away, probably maybe even tighter. So I can imagine trying to help them loosen their grip on those feelings. As refreshing it is for them, I can imagine it's refreshing for you. But I then got a question on that. That you go to therapy to kind of let out everything you've heard from clients and that, haven't you, kind of thing?
Yeah.
Like maybe not necessarily in that way. How much do you enjoy or need or want to share, and what you think about the process of you having to go to therapy as a therapist? Because I think that's something that I know I don't think about it a lot. I imagine a therapist is someone I go and talk to and I offload to them, and I just think about how I've offloaded to that person. Never think about how that person's probably going to need to offload too. So what's the feeling of you going to talk to a therapist like, in the fact that you're a therapist?
Do you enjoy the process?
Yeah. Is it weird? Is it awkward? Do you think is it refreshing? Is it, yeah?
It's always surprising. And I say that because I always kind of go to therapy or supervision. Generally, I go in going, I don't really know what I'm going to talk about.
Yeah.
But then once you're in it, it all depends on the day and how you're feeling. If there's certain things that have been maybe playing on your mind, or kind of what you call like a parallel process. So if something is happening with your client that's very similar to yourself, I might go talk about those kind of things. So obviously, more recently, as an example of that, working a lot with the Making Miracles people and hearing so much about baby loss and complications and all of that kind of stuff with G, very heavily pregnant now.
Yeah.
That's been weighing on me a lot. So going to my own therapy and talking about that is nice.
Yeah.
In a way, it doesn't necessarily get rid of the problem, but it helps you kind of talk it through and maybe understand.
Is it a space to vent?
It's space to vent, and it also allows that space to kind of reflect a little bit more and understand where those fears for me maybe come from or what I could do about them.
Yeah.
I use therapy and supervision for like if I'm ever struggling with particular clients or not knowing what to do in certain situations and knowing that I can go to them, and because they're generally a lot more experienced, they might have different solutions or be able to challenge you in certain ways, which is like what I would do as a therapist. I would challenge the people that are sitting in front of me to think in a slightly different way. That's what they're there for me, to work in a different way.
Yeah.
And to maybe think about wording questions slightly differently or understanding the person that's in front of me.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a second set of eyes, looking at different problems, which is really nice. But yeah, I would always say it's quite surprising because I generally go in and I don't really know what I'm going to talk about, but it's nice just to kind of see what comes up. And
it's something you have to do, isn't
process.
it, as a therapist?
Yeah, you have.
And I think that's really interesting because it's also, it's something that you pay for, isn't it? Something you have to do. It's something that you pay for, which I think is really strange because I think it's as Cello, you're listening to those baby you lost things, and you've got a situation in your life which makes it going to really hit home. It's strange, but I mean it in like a good way. Of there's something that you have to put an outlet for, but it's going to benefit your job, and it's something you have to do. Like I feel like as a teacher, I would love to have to go to a space that I could just vent about being a teacher. I think it would really help me to actually maybe enjoy
It's the staff room.
not really.
But some schools
like,
do.
I know what you mean.
I know what you mean. Like I think having that space to go and talk to about the job where you could just probably just go, bleh. I've got nothing to talk about because I know if you want me to start talking about teaching, I've got nothing to talk about right now, but I could probably talk for the next hour about it. And it's just it must as like you said, it doesn't solve the things going around in your head, but a space to just kind of go, I have not necessarily a colleague, but a peer I'm gonna go and talk to, and I'm just gonna share.
So that kind of leads me on to, I've got another question here. I know you haven't asked a question.
No, you're right.
But my question that I had written down, so I knew otherwise I'd forget. Do you think that everyone can benefit from counselling or hypnotherapy? Or is there a right time or frame of mind that someone should be going or thinking about it?
Yes, everyone can benefit from it.
Sure.
Anyone and everyone. They have to be in the right frame of mind to be willing to accept that help and understand that for themselves. Occasionally, very rarely it happens, but you get someone, well, I get someone, and I know other therapists have had it as well, where someone comes into your clinic and sits down and you go, why are you here? And they go, well, my wife or my husband said I should come to therapy because I need some help. You know that person's not really invested in it because they've been told to come along. Sometimes they stay, quite often they don't. You need to be really willing to listen to that an impartial person, or willing to share your story and be willing to be vulnerable. There's quite a lot of people that maybe don't, but I saw a thing on Instagram. It's like I can't remember where it was from, but it's like most people who come to therapy talk about family members that should be in therapy. So like, do you know what I mean? So it's not just, I could think of lots of different clients off the top of my head who come to me to talk about their partners or their kids or their parents or whatever, because they're the people that are struggling within themselves, and the person sitting in front of me doesn't know how to deal with that.
Well, so they're not necessarily coming to you to fix themselves. They're coming to you to talk about how the other person is coping. So how are they going to cope with that person who's not coping?
It's a weird dynamic.
Vicious circle.
Yeah, it's a weird one, really. But yeah, they're wanting to better themselves because they want to be better for their family members who are struggling, or
rather
they don't understand.
Rather than saying the one who's struggling, but that's because they're struggling themselves. Yeah.
So yeah, the answer to that question, I think everyone could benefit
you both
from
kind
it.
of mentioned it. I've not done counselling or any form of therapy. I think you've hit me on the head there. I've never official any therapy. I know full well you've counselled.
100%.
I know you have, and then
Just
I've never had it
therapized.
kind of official sat down thought about it.
Mm.
I can openly admit I've not. I think the last time I cried. Well, last time I cried was at my father-in-law's funeral. But bar an actual grief situation and just built up emotion, I have not got a clue.
And that's the thing, right? I think a lot of people associate therapy with negative stuff. It doesn't have to be that. It's just anything. It can be a space just for reflective practice. It could be, I try to make it part of my practice that we focus on good things that happen as well as the bad things. And especially with the kids, my first question is, what's gone well this week generally? Because that's such a harder thing to think about, because the brain recognizes trauma and negative things so much quicker than it does positive things. I could say to you now, like, can you think of 5 things that have gone wrong throughout your lifetime? And you'd be able to reel them off really quickly. But to go, what are the things that have really positively impacted you? That's going to take a lot more thought.
There you go.
Yeah.
All you free.
But that's just the way the brain works, right? It's a lot harder to think of that kind of stuff. So even if you was to come to therapy just to kind of brag and go, yeah, actually I'm amazing, you go, well, why is that?
Yeah.
What's been good in your life that's made you that way or thinking that way? And that's a lot more. I'm just
As a therapist,
yeah.
it might be a two-sided thing. As a therapist, one, what do you really enjoy about how people promote therapy? And what could you or others do to improve that image of therapy?
That's a really hard question.
I haven't asked anything yet, and I've done a really good job. Paxman, watch out.
You do know he edits this, yeah?
What do I really enjoy about how it's promoted?
If you think it is. Because again, I only see therapists that I know, So,
I've got one idea where I think you would enjoy it, because I think when I've spoken about the therapy I've had before, and I speak very quite highly of it, I see the joy in your face when I talk about how positive it is.
The bit that enjoys me is hearing other people's positive experiences of it, because I know the benefits it can do with people. The bit that I don't enjoy hearing from people is when, I had this person and they put me off therapy for life, or I've had clients in the past come to me and said, I've had a couple of therapists before and it's not worked, or I didn't like the person, or they were crap, or whatever. I think there could be a lot. I think there could be a better job in promoting different types of therapy, because there's so many different types of therapy, and I think therapy is such a massive umbrella term. And I think maybe there needs to be more work done on the different types. So I'm a person-centered therapist, which is stereotypically you're talking therapy, and then you've got like CBT, you've got DBT, hypnotherapy,
shock.
Electroshock therapy.
I was going to say, I don't think they do any CT anyway, mate.
But there is loads of different types and loads of different modalities. You've got stuff like Gestalt therapy, which is like really quite intense. You've got I can never get the letters in the right way. EMDR.
Yeah, rapid eye movement.
Rapid eye movement stuff for like PTSD. Yeah. There's so many different types out there, and I think the line is quite blurry, I think.
Yeah, because because I find in my field, it's like, a lot of people use that blanket term of therapy.
Yeah.
It's like, you need to go to therapy, and immediately, especially with the client group I deal with, you have done. There's that. Well, I don't want to talk to someone, and you're like, it's not just talking. Like there are other things. Kind of, I found that in physio as well when I was working in that. Physiotherapy is an umbrella term. There's many different facets to it. So I think, in that, like the question I asked really, like, would you, for your therapy services, would you look at sort of promoting it individually, and how would you do that?
Individually, in terms of what I offer?
Yeah.
I think maybe I need to do a little bit more of that. And it's kind of my ethos, the way I work. If you look at some of my online, like when I'm in directories and stuff, a lot of what I try to push is that I'm a human first, not a therapist. It's very much that person, you as a client, is the expert in your life. And I try to push that as much as I can, because people may or may not understand, but therapy is such a personal experience, and it's such a personal relationship. Like, you're allowed to shop around for different therapists, and I don't think many people understand that, because you're paying good money, your hard-earned money, to talk to someone to try and help you. You don't have to go to the first person that you see. If you think that person's not quite right for you, you can go and talk to someone else.
Have you ever moved someone on? So you've spoke to someone and you've thought that someone else has better skill set than you?
Yeah. And I think we kind of get taught that in practice anyway. It's like, if we genuinely think that this person we cannot work with, or they may be better suited to someone else, then we can do that. It's up to that person whether they want to do that or not. Equally, if, say, a person brings something to us that we're not comfortable working with, we have every right to say, we wouldn't say, I can't deal with you. Like, you wouldn't say it like that. But
my diary's full.
But you would go, actually, I think this person would be better suited to you for whatever reason. And I say that, I try to say that in all my kind of initial calls with people, is that I asked them, like, how did they find me or whatever, but they said, like, if you have a couple of sessions with me, if you don't like me or you don't get on with me, that's absolutely fine. You've got every right to go find someone else, because I want the person to have the best experience possible. I don't want to just be taking money off them, knowing that actually this is doing nothing for them, or they're not liking me, or I'm not liking them, or whatever it is. I want that, because ultimately it's not necessarily my reputation on the line. It's therapy as a general reputation on the line. If that person's not had a good experience with me, then they're not probably, very unlikely to go back to therapy. So if I feel, it doesn't happen very often, but if I feel that actually maybe this isn't working, you go, well, does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. Kind of a little follow-up to that is, do you feel more confident now you're independently employed in able to say, actually, for your side, like, I'm not comfortable dealing with that, I can refer you on, whereas if you were in a bigger service, say, there's pressures, isn't there?
Yeah, there's certainly pressures from different areas, but now being in almost full control of who I see is a lot better. A lot better.
Do you think that's, I haven't asked one, and now I'm going, do you feel that's going to make you, or already made you, better sounds really horrible, but do you feel like it's improved your capacity and practice as a therapist? Being on your own now.
Yeah, I think so. There are some days where I don't feel that. Some days where I feel, again, it's that imposter syndrome kind of creeping in. Someone might come to me with a problem or a situation that maybe I've not necessarily heard of before or come across much. or yeah, it's a hard one, really. I do feel a lot more confident on my own, but there are some days where it's a lot harder. But then again, that's what my therapy for, and that's what my supervision is for. I go to them to go, actually, I'm struggling with this. Can you help me? Like, you guys know me, I'm not a big drinker. That's why I don't drink.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I don't drink. So yeah, I don't drink. So people
All
that
that
come to me
hardcore
with,
water.
yeah, people that come to me with alcohol problems and stuff, I can't necessarily get on the same page with them as someone who might like a bit of a drink or whatever. So I'm not looking at you. But you know what I mean?
At the same time, you might have dealt with some form of not you. I'm using you as a generic term for therapy. Might have dealt with some form of addiction, be it the gym when you were younger type thing, or be it, I don't know,
gambling, anything.
Yeah, you might have at some point in your life as a therapist, you had gone through some form of where you can probably look back now and go, that probably wasn't healthy with what I was doing. And that was
maybe even
some
like
form of
love with a person or something kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, infatuation, I think, isn't talked about enough as an addiction.
Yeah.
You know.
You two together.
What I mean, Rob?
It's the only reason I'm in the middle.
Yeah, I know. I can't help it. Sorry, I had a question.
So I've got a few questions. There's one that I want to save to the end, which I'm looking forward to.
Which one's your favourite?
I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a really poor one. But
curious what it is.
Obviously, without turning too much detail, are there any stories from your therapy or hypnotherapy? We'll get onto hypnotherapy in a minute, 'cause that's new, really, isn't it? That you're really happy about, like a bloke or something that you can think, I know I turned his life around, or.
And don't give the obvious answer of a really successful story that we all know in the room.
Yeah, you can avoid my wife. You can save her for hypnotherapy. Because she generally, honestly, she would happily, I've said this, she would come on here.
Yeah,
and she promotes you more than anyone I know because she knows how much it changed her life. But we'll talk about that in hypnotherapy.
Yeah, there's a few people that stand out that I know that I've had an impact on. Not necessarily.
Any kids?
Yeah, there's a few kids that I've worked with in the past that I know I have made a difference with. I think the thing with being a therapist, you don't tend to see kids, especially adults, for too long. Saying that, I've had clients that I've been seeing for a few years now, on and off. But I think the biggest thing about therapy for me is that I almost don't want to know how much of an impact I've had on them, because I want to hold out hope, that I want to empower clients and people. And that might sound like a cheesy answer, but like, I want a person to go away knowing that they're the one that's making a difference.
It must
Does
be
that
a
make
really
sense?
tricky, and I think we have actually had this conversation before, but it's a really tricky job in the sense of you want people to come to you to never come back.
Yeah. Ideally, I would want to see people a few times and then never see them again. That would be the ideal, but that's not financially viable.
No.
But saying that, I wouldn't keep people on.
No, I know.
Do you know what I mean? So I always say to people, like, I would never put an end date on how many sessions they need or whatever, because again, it's that empowerment for that person. I want them to feel ready. When they feel ready, then that's fine. And I know I've seen people in the past that I've spent a long time with who I've never seen again, and I really hope that they're living the fullest of lives, and I've played a small part.
Come back for a positive, they've not come back because they're just, again, not in a frame of mind or whatever.
Yeah.
That's good.
I've always thought that thinking of that, like footballers celebrate goals, golfers celebrate trophies, right? Whatever. I don't know if it's an ethical thing or if it's like, are you allowed as a therapist to celebrate those good things? Like when you go to therapy school, whatever, university, you can tell I'm not educated. But like,
It's just a big room with lots of chairs. Can everyone lie down, please?
but is that encouraged? Are you taught to actually, or is that overinvestment, if that makes sense? That's always puzzled me with therapy.
Yeah.
Because in every line of work I've been in, I think consciously I've chosen a line of work where I can celebrate successes.
Yeah.
I want, from my understanding, and everyone, is that a thing for therapists?
It might be. I can't.
For you?
For me. Again, it's that I always try and make a conscious effort if someone's come to me for an addiction, as an example, and said, "Oh, like this week I've not touched it" or whatever. I don't celebrate that for me. I celebrate that for them. If someone's been able to, I don't know, go on a plane that they've never been able to go on a plane before. I've not done that. I've helped change their mindset, but they're the one that's stepped onto that plane and done that thing. So I'm not going, yay, look at me, aren't I amazing? I'm like, that's so good for you.
Such a therapist.
But that I think that's who I am.
So simplifying that, if a mechanic fixes your car and you drive it out the door, whose accomplishment is it? Is it you or is it the mechanic?
I'm not a mechanic.
But you're giving them the tools to fix it, aren't you?
But they're fixing it.
But
I'm just going, look, this is, how about think about this in a different way? I'm not saying, I try not to, and I hope I don't give too much advice. That's not my role as a therapist.
Yeah, I know.
My role is to challenge and to ask questions or to change your way of thinking, not necessarily to go, you need to do this, this, and this, because that would, to me, that's a bad therapist.
So I probably, in the back of my head then, I completely agree, actually. You're not the mechanic, but you could say you're like the teacher. So when you get a kid through, let's say, year 6, he leaves for year 6, he goes to secondary school and stuff, you've given him all the skills and as much as you can for him to get to that job. It's not your success, it's someone else's success. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. I talk about it's nice to see how much they've grown, or think about where they've come from. I will at times there and say, or think to myself, I've done a good job there.
Yeah.
But
stand up and go,
it would necessarily start with, look how far they've come. Like look where they were to look what they're doing now.
What I do celebrate, and this is something that I've learned through supervision and my own therapy, is that what I can celebrate is people coming back. And that's not because after a first session, say, so if someone keeps coming back, that's a win for me, because I must be doing something right for them to keep turning up.
They're comfortable.
They're comfortable. They're safe. If someone, that's going to sound really harsh, but if someone is able to cry in a session and be emotionally available, especially men, I've seen a lot of men cry in front of me. That's a little win for me, because I've been able to provide that space. Yeah, I've created that space for them to feel emotional and safe, and that's what I celebrate. I don't necessarily celebrate what they accomplish. I celebrate the environment that I've been able to create for them in that space.
Yeah.
That's an answer that I wanted to hear. Because I think
the other answers were rubbish.
No, not rubbish. I think, because I know you very well, and like the lads do, and you are objectively completely selfless, but also, you know, psychologically there is a part of every human that likes to have that buzz.
Yeah.
So it's nice to know where that buzz is with you, with work. Never asked that question. I know, just it's always been a provocative thought of mine of like,
you know, but you don't know. So
why does he keep doing it? Like, you know why footballers keep doing their job. You know why bin men keep doing their job. But
one of my favorite things to hear in a client room is, "I've never cried like that before," or I never usually feel this, whatever, or sad, or like,
usually feel this.
I think he's doing it wrong. Sorry. I tried to keep it nice.
But that is one of my favourite things to hear is like, I can't remember the last time I cried like that, and that genuinely makes me feel happy in a weird way, because I've been able to.
You've got them to the, as you said, a safe space.
Yeah.
They feel it's okay. Yeah.
I always said that when I was getting people desensitized to blood tests, it was always, "You've done such a good job," and I was like, "No, I've got them to the threshold." And I kind of, now you've explained it, I can understand it a bit more. I just needed you to explain it because, well, you're so damn quiet. No, it's nice to hear. It's nice to hear that you do. For me, it's nice to hear that you do celebrate, because, and again, I've had sessions with you, so it's I know how impactful you have been, not just as a friend, but as a therapist. And I think there might be a question in that in a minute. It's nice to know that you can celebrate getting something from it.
I love my
that
job.
question now.
No.
No, I was going to say, ask. You said there might be that question in a minute. I was going to say, ask that question now.
How, and again, obviously, I do not want you to go into details, but how do you feel giving sessions to friends and to not necessarily friends, but close people? Do you ever have that like
conflict of interest?
Yeah, and like no moment.
I'm always very wary of it. I think we're kind of always counselling anyway. We're kind of always told ethically we shouldn't, for lots of reasons. Hypnotherapy is slightly different with that.
Yeah.
Like I would never do like hypnoanalysis with people that I'm closest to, because that's very different. Suggestion therapy, hypnotherapy is, I've obviously done that with a couple of you guys. I feel like I've got to be very careful. Again, I feel confident in myself to be able to deliver the best professional version of me, that those boundaries are quite set in place. But like with you guys, I don't think we would have a proper counselling talking therapy session in a very structured way. Hypnotherapy is very different, because I know like there's little bits of, we want to work on. I know I've done some with you, Rob, that you want to change, and I feel okay with that, because I feel that's part of my job as a friend.
Yeah.
People who are maybe on the outer circles. Again, I don't feel like I'm very, and we've kind of talked about this before, I don't feel like I'm very different me outside of a therapist. I feel a therapist is very much a part of my personality, so I don't feel there's much of a difference there. So I don't mind it too much. I would always, again, ask that person if they're comfortable with it, because ultimately I know I will be. And, as part of my contracting and stuff as a therapist anyway, like if I was to ever see clients out and about, I would never say hello first if they want to approach me.
Yo, John,
But it could be that. I would never do that, because you never know how uncomfortable someone else is going to feel. So, I will.
Has that ever happened that you've seen someone and you just kind of, you've seen them, they've seen you, but you've just like plain blankly not acknowledged each other?
It happened just before Christmas. I saw someone in an old client in Morrison's, and I looked at him. Obviously, he looked at me, like recognised each other, and just gave a little nod, and that was it. This happened a couple of times, but again, I would never go and have a conversation with that person.
Well, how would you react if they approached you?
Yeah, be all right.
Yeah.
If that's their choice. If they want to talk to me, I'd say I wouldn't obviously go, "Who are you?" kind of thing.
Get yourself a twin, mate. It's so easy to do that way.
Oh yeah, I've been seeing this new counsellor. What? You what? You've been cheating on me?
Can you imagine? Blum just getting angry.
Crisps going everywhere. Jaffa cakes on the floor.
It's not actually happened in my no one's really approached me. It's always just been a little smile and a nod or whatever.
You went to ask something a minute ago, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. I was still half building him a question in what you made anyway. Kind of going a little bit back to your imposter syndrome, but also about how you said that therapy is not necessarily a job; it's part of your personality. Having seen you kind of grow from the teenage therapist of someone who is just their personality to someone who has now used your career. Like, I'm really proud of everything that you've done. Trying to make you think of the positive side of things. How proud are you of yourself in what you have built and what you have achieved? Because you have done a lot. You've done your dream and your passion. I think.
Try not to get emotional too much. Yeah,
it's all right.
Why not?
You can cry.
No, I just
Safe space, man.
I'm an ugly crier. That's why.
Carry on asking questions.
We all are.
We're really proud of you.
Yeah. Thank you.
I mean, in a way, like, I think we wouldn't be supporting like this project if we
exactly
weren't proud of you. We didn't believe in you.
Didn't support
and yeah. So I'm trying to force that positivity to come out of you.
No, I think, but you are right. We yes, this is fun for us, and it's something that we're all happy to talk about. But we wouldn't be happy to talk about this to the public if we weren't supporting you and weren't proud of what you were doing.
Yeah,
you are right, I know.
Yeah. How proud are you of yourself?
Yeah, I'm pretty proud.
I know that's such a hard thing to answer.
Yeah,
Especially
pretty
for
proud.
Blind.
Yeah.
Pretty proud. I say it's always where I wanted to be. I feel like there's a long way to go though. There's a lot I kind of want to achieve.
Yeah.
What's the future for Loqui?
I want to complete my supervisor's qualification, so then I can supervise other therapists. That would be the next kind of goal, and then also kind of offer clinical supervision to companies or charities that work on frontline stuff. So what you were saying earlier about having teachers having to go to someone, there are schools that I know of that do have a clinical supervisor that teachers can go to.
Yeah.
Obviously, budget's dependent and stuff like that. But there's lots of charity. I know I've had clinical supervision in the roles that I've done. You must.
I've certainly had clinical
supervisors,
reflective practice.
And
So
that's something
I've
that I
had it as in my teaching roles, but it's just been there's this free help phone you can phone if you need, that's all that's put down as. Yeah,
it's really strange because the few people that I know that have had therapy, clinical stuff in a professional environment have all slated it.
Yeah.
It's not done right.
Like multiple people that I know have all said it wasn't done at the right time. It wasn't done in the right format. It was over the phone when quite clearly I'm not that type of person. And everything just, I know at least 4 people that have all said it wasn't for them and it put them off counselling or therapy.
Yeah, I've had a few good ones. I think generally from talking to lots of different people, it's all done reactively. So it's always put in place when something is too late.
Yeah.
I think it needs to be done proactively, and I think it needs to be a constant thing. I know lots of different people who've had clinical supervision that have just dipped in and out, or it's not regular enough. It needs to be at least once a month. Yeah, I've had some good clinical supervisors, and I would like to change that reputation and do that myself. I don't know timeline wise what that might look like. But yeah, that's something that I want to do and kind of build up my profile. Yeah, lots of little goals that I kind
Any
of
areas that you think you might try and push towards or get a bit of experience in?
I think I wanted to keep pushing like men's mental health, and do something with that. I want to try and work collaboratively with lots of different people as well. I think it's that kind of jack of all trades kind of mentality, trying to help as widespread of people as I can. So trying to have different conversations with people at the moment. Trying to work collaboratively. I can't say that word. Collaboratively.
Yeah, it's weird that you say them, because I asked this almost the exact same question only a couple of weeks ago, just before Christmas, and you said almost not something completely different, but there was one that you mentioned that you'd like to do that didn't come up then. What was it?
What was that?
Sports. Said you'd
Yeah,
like to get into sport
I'd quite fancy
therapist.
that.
What, the psychology side, or
Yeah, like
sorry,
like performance.
It's his dream, mate, not mine.
Yeah.
sorry, I forget you.
Yeah, I think there's an element of that
Mystic makeover.
yeah, sports performance. I'd like to dabble in maybe.
It's a bit of a.
It's very niche.
As the say, it's a bit of a niche place to go
it's
to,
quite niche.
because once you're in, that's all you're really doing.
And at that point, again, sports therapy, or not sports therapy, but the sports psychology and therapy side to it, it's an umbrella term, because you could use multiple different types of therapy to enhance performance. Or
Shock.
No, not ECT. Can you?
I've been listening to loads of sports therapy recently.
Yeah,
Absolutely love the YouTube videos and podcasts around it.
Oh.
Just find it so uplifting.
Therapeutic.
Yeah, just the way that they're how to change mentality around stuff and becoming, what's the word that I was listening to today? It's becoming like the controller and not the victim and stuff like that. I find that the way that they often talk is very positive.
Yeah,
that's what I need.
Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, I'd love to dabble in it a little bit, but I can't see that being a main.
You'd have to kind of turn what you're doing on its head a little bit and just start again in a way, because that would need specific amount of experience and opportunities and
getting in the right networking.
Marketing.
Yeah.
I think I'm going on that marketing and networking type thing. I think if you're aiming at sort of like the men's mental health, I think, especially locally, because we both, they're in the same sort of area, there could be a lot to do with maybe guest speaking and doing things like that for organisations.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you feel about that sort of thing.
Huh?
Need to write a book.
Do you know what? I said that to Rich the other day, actually. I've got an idea for a book. I want to start.
Spot goes to the park.
Yeah. Did you tell me that, not the others?
Yeah. That's why.
Best friend.
I mean, he said, "Boys, I've got something to share." We went, "Just tell Rich for one."
Yeah, we're too busy.
He didn't actually even know you were in the WhatsApp group.
He clicked on the wrong chat.
Gonna go for it.
Let's feel special.
Hi, Rich. No, I think especially, and again, you might think differently. I personally think you're not to blow smoke up your ass, but you're brilliant. And I think you have such a natural way of being able to talk to people. And when I say guest speak, I mean, just not necessarily give therapy, but just go along and be able to answer questions about, like we're doing here in this podcast. Just being a bit open about what therapy is.
Yeah, allow conversations to happen.
Yeah,
because I think half the stuff we've shared on this podcast is stuff that even in our however long friendships we've had, we haven't shared. But we make those conversations have opened up, and then our comfort in it has allowed us just to talk.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Is that something you're taught to be a facilitator more than anything else? Is that a word that's used in therapy or
not? That I can recall specifically.
That's how I see you as a professional and a friend. Is you're more of a facilitator, as in you let.
Honestly, you don't know where Richard ends and Mike begins.
I could talk about teaching if you want.
I'm not a teacher.
Yeah, I it's never.
He's always been that way. To be honest, it's always been that way. I remember the amount of times we've gone for a drive somewhere or something, and there'll be something bothering me and issuing me, and you just then be like, talk. It's like, no, I'm not going to talk, and then 10 minutes later, I'm like ranting and raving kind of things. Yeah, it's always been. I say in a way, like I don't think he's gone to university and actually learned anything because he was doing it anyway. I think one thing he has done is opened up himself more. Like we've said before, he talks more, which is really. I don't talk as if you're not there, but yeah, I think that's the thing that you've really developed. But you've always
that coincided with me coming into the group. I'm just saying.
Did you struggle growing up?
Yes.
No, did you struggle like growing up with a lot of people thinking similar stuff with, I'm going to speak to Mike about that, or you as much as you enjoyed it, it was almost became, as you said, that was who you were rather than kind of the friendship. What's the word? Do you see what I'm trying to say? Yeah.
Well, did anyone like use you as a person just to talk to rather than I'm going to talk to Mike and go?
And then you never really got kind of your outlet at 17. Something had annoyed you, and
no, I don't think so. I can't really remember. I think stuff's always found me. I think people have always not necessarily sought me out to sort them out, I guess. I think I've always just enjoyed listening to people, and I think I don't know how or why, but I think learning early on that everyone's got their own stuff. And I remember like back in the days of like MSN and like online stuff, like I used to go on not chat rooms and stuff, but like I talked to a lot of online, Rob, I talked to a lot of strangers online.
Sitting there thinking like you've always had someone you're talking to.
I've always
had someone you're talking to.
I've got stuff going on. Built relationships with people online and stuff. Not always romantically, some maybe, some not so much.
Some not always healthy, but some also really healthy.
Unhealthy, but I feel like I learned a lot from those kind of relationships and people, and I think it's just something that's naturally always been there. Is wanting to help people, wanting to help people, but also wanting to understand people.
For someone who's not an in-your-face person, you've always gone out to find people, kind of thing. You've always had someone to talk to, even though you're not jumping in people's faces, or you're not like just
initiating a conversation and then just seeing where that goes.
Just like looking at the world around you, whether that's literally the world or just whoever's there. Yeah.
I think going back to the appreciation, success, and all that you mentioned, I think you should, especially before the baby comes, sit back and completely appreciate what you've done and how you've got here, because it's not many people that can say, at the age of 16, I had this in my head, this is my dream. And actually, now I'm doing it. I'm self-employed and successfully. I'm
Yeah.
a family. Like,
Yeah.
that's so, there's not, like, who is it? Simon Squibb.
Mm.
He's got the
I watch a
book,
lot of his stuff.
Have
yeah.
You Got a Dream, or what's the book called? What's Your Dream?
What's your dream? Yeah.
And there's so many times that he goes around and he goes, "What's your dream?" And people go, because we get-
I think you thinking about the year ahead that you've got. Where you spoke the other day, where he's like, "I'm a little bit stressed, and worried about it." All of those things. Appreciate what you've got, because you haven't got anything to worry about, especially with your drive and what you've achieved.
that can be almost your mantra of kind of coming back.
Mm.
I've done this. You should be really proud of yourself,
Mm.
and likewise,
G,
should be
yeah.
proud at what she's done to help you get here as well, because it's a joint thing when you're in a
100%.
relationship.
Incredibly supportive.
So yeah, you should be proud. Definitely.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I will. I will be proud.
What was your question? That was like your really juicy
Oh, right,
one.
yeah, we probably like 4 hours.
hour and 15. We spent
Oh,
10
this
minutes
is
at
gonna
the
be
beginning, John.
definitely a hard one to cut.
So.
Right.
This question better be good.
One of my last ones.
Oh, one of
the last ones.
Jesus.
I've got them up.
Strap in.
So obviously, not everyone can afford therapy.
Mm.
We've not even touched on hypnotherapy and stuff. It can be quite costly, especially if you've got a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
What's your advice on how someone can approach a situation with someone that needs therapy? For, let's say, Rob needed therapy, he couldn't afford it. What's your advice to me on how do I deal with them conversations?
That's it. Giving him time to think. I would say on that, the element of that, there is loads of charities out there. Like, I remember when I was really struggling with therapy, and you were one of the people that kind of researched it quite a bit for me, and just sent me all these, try these places, these will give it to you for free.
Piece of paper on it.
And I remember one day just being like, okay, if I don't talk to somebody soon, I'm really worried. So then just click on one, just going on it, and I got, I think it was 6 or 7 sessions just completely free. And I didn't get any more than that. It was like, you've done your course now.
Yeah.
But it was exactly what I needed, and it didn't cost me a penny. It saved me without a doubt. So just the element of, it does cost a lot of money, but there is also lots of charities out there that are available.
Yeah, there is a lot of good charities and a lot of free stuff out there, which is good. But I think if you wanted to approach that conversation, just be honest and be empathetic and compassionate, really, and let him know that, or them know that, you're worried, and maybe that you can kind of see that, or
It's okay to be worried.
yes, it's okay.
Not
And
coming in a
there
bad
is
way.
help out there, but equally you've also got to want that and ask that question of, how are you? As simple as that. How are you really? What's going on? Do you feel like you need to talk to someone that's impartial? Someone that might be able to help, because that person that the people that come to therapy generally they will feel like a burden to the rest of their friends and family. So there's that angle as well. Like, you go to someone who's gets paid to deal with that stuff and to hold that stuff. If you don't want to feel like a burden to everyone else, because we've all felt like that. We all feel like burdens to our loved ones. But by going to therapy,
I never thought of it that way. But yeah, that is a really interesting way of putting it.
but by going to therapy, you're not burdening anyone, and you're kind of letting all of that stuff go yourself.
Yeah.
Finishing up questions. What have you got?
I'm thinking about that still.
Yeah, in fairness, that's quite nice. Thought.
I do think as well, like, when you say what advice would you give, I'd say, like, you kind of how people acted with me, where it was, I think I was quite visually struggling a lot, and it was, I don't even know if you asked me about help. I think you just sent me stuff one day, maybe.
I remember
I think
sending you something.
everybody,
but I
I
can't
think
remember
everybody
the kind
could
of-
see I was struggling,
Mm.
and it was just, this is there, Rob. And like you said, I needed to be at the point where I was like, I need this, but I knew I was at that point, but I wasn't at the point of mentally being able to figure it out or deciding it, and then just literally having the links in front of me and just going, okay. I think it was literally the first link I clicked on, and just put that in. It was like, I'm going to get a phone call in a couple of days, and then did, and then going to work being like, I've got this phone call, I have to have a space. Had it, and then went back to work. I've got these appointments for the next 6 Mondays, 7 Mondays, whatever it was. All right, done. I didn't have to think about everything. I could almost like robotically just do what I knew I needed without having to make the decision, even though I was decisive in clicking on the link. It was just there for me. So yeah.
The thing that I've learned from you over the years is the question of how are you doing? And 9 times out of 10, I was really bad for it. I still am pretty bad at it because I avoid the conversation sometimes. How are you doing? Someone will always go, yeah, I'm fine. What are you up to? Not what I've tried to do over the years, and I'd say I'm pretty good at it, is I will always go, like, how are you? Like, how are you doing? Yeah, I'm fine. All right. Well, what you been up to? But I will force that conversation.
Yeah.
Obviously, one of my close friends, like Nathan, he's in Canada, so we get very limited time to talk to each other. And this brief time we have, I try and get kind of real feelings out of him. Annoyingly, I couldn't talk to him tonight.
Sorry.
But no, I was on the tube. I was on the tube. But
Sorry,
that's one
Nathan.
thing that I've learned from you over the last kind of X amount of years while you've been giving advice and stuff, is it's carrying on a conversation doesn't always have to be kind of, no, tell me more. Doesn't have to always just be that. It's getting them to talk about themselves.
I said, do you remember last year where I think the three of us was playing Uno or something one night?
My invite was lost.
And
Different WhatsApp group.
and I think I was having a really struggling time, and the two of you, I think quite clearly, obviously knew it, and you probed me if you were all right, and I was like, yeah, I'm fine. And then it was kind of both just being like, no. And you made that conversation linger there. And I fought that conversation off as much as I could. But the awkwardness.
3 hours later, we got there. I think.
Yeah. But then
I didn't even play Uno.
I don't think we played one game of cards, but I sat there.
Were your seizures that bad?
And
Sorry, mate.
But I sat there and I cried. And I opened up and everything like that. But it wouldn't have happened unless, like you just said, like when you're saying, like, I think I'm good at it, I'm like, I have literally an example just over a year ago, maybe, of the two of you literally being good at that, making it come out of me. So I shared. And then that, I think that.
We literally make come out of you.
Is it bad? I didn't take that in a bad way. I was just imagining me with my Play-Doh head there. I wonder what Rob would look like with a Play-Doh head.
It's not the same. With a white patch.
But
no, you are good at it. And I think, again, it is a lot we've spoken about of having a good group and good people around you can save you in moments when you maybe aren't feeling good.
Again, something to be very proud of with where you've come from 10 years ago, 15 years ago to now. You're passing experience, empathy, knowledge onto your friends to change the environment that you're in.
Taught Luke
probably
something.
Without even realising.
That's a big win.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Without even realising, you've affected all three of us and probably another 3-4 other people that we are close to because we've had them conversations with other people.
My wife has always said, and I will single you out, but also the rest of the lads, is she is incredibly thankful that I met you and then in turn built a great friendship with you and obviously Rob.
I love how that he said I met you, then Bill did that shit with him. Whether that was meant or not, that was hard. Got any cigarettes around
Brutal.
here?
It's not your podcast, Luke. Oh, I don't know where I was going with that now. I've ruined it. I'm not- No, but I've literally gone. I don't know where I've gone with that now. Brilliant. It's
Your
ruined.
wife said
Emma.
that
She's
meeting
thankful.
Mike
Sorry, yeah,
was-
no, but wait. My wife's changed my life. But no, when you're saying it has impacted other people,
Oh.
even like my wife who doesn't exist and has no heart has noticed the differences. So I think, and I, like I say, and I've said it numerous times, and I think it might get on you guys' nerves by me always saying I'm the newbie and I'm very much knowing my place and whatnot.
You wear it like a badge.
I do. I'm like, oh my God.
Gareth's only just come in the group.
Yeah.
He's a newbie, but he's got Sky Electric, so he's going to
I
beat
know,
you
he's
soon.
gonna
He's
beat
actually got a house.
No, Rich trades Pokemon with me, so like,
Really good Pokemon as well.
yeah, that beats Galaxy. I'm afraid, sorry, Gareth.
Yeah, I don't know. I wish, again, I'm new to it and I don't have the relationship that these guys have had for longevity wise. I really wish you would acknowledge more. And I think kind of, yeah, start acknowledging it more, the impacts that you're having. And that's why I asked the celebration question earlier, because I think you do, like, again, yeah, you don't get emotional, but you need to be a little bit more.
We love you, man.
No, you just need to recognize it more, the impact that you do have. Like I'm not going to say you are the glue because that might upset Luke, but
You're the blue tack.
no, but I just think, yeah,
Yeah.
have more faith and more, not more faith. I think faith's the wrong word.
I don't know they would
Be more
You said
confident.
it.
Yeah,
Appreciation for
Yeah.
what you've done and where you've got it.
Yeah,
You're
appreciate how much we appreciate you.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you let us come here, and yeah, it's the only reason I see these two. So Luke blew me out.
You're going golf tomorrow when you could have come and seen me. You chose not to.
It's not your podcast. We're talking about Mike.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Mike, what have you learned from this today?
I need to appreciate myself more.
Okay, now give an answer that we didn't give you.
It's going to get away with that.
You're welcome. Told you, Paxman's got nothing on me.
Other than that, I think I'm going to take away maybe the thing. There's lots of different things. I think the thing that's also stood out for me is how therapy is perceived. Maybe in terms of my own stuff, like marketing wise, what it is that I actually offer and push that more. Yeah, maybe push more that there's lots of different types of therapy out there. That it could be a tailor-made thing. And also the thing I said about being a burden, I like that line. And maybe use that
Clip
a little
it,
bit
snip
more.
it.
Clip that. Yeah. There's lots of little nuggets in there.
That's one of your chapters now, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's why, I'll have to talk to you about it.
I know it's long going. And we've been going on. I have a non-therapy question. Like, I want you to not give a therapist answer.
Okay.
Who's your favourite? No. What do you want us to, or what could be beneficial for us to take away from this conversation?
Ooh.
And that could be individually or as a group. Like, yeah, what could? But I don't want you to answer that as like a therapy. Well, what do you want to take away? No. What do you want us to take away?
I would like. I know you've had experiences with therapists before.
Mm-hmm.
I would like you to try again
Okay.
and find someone that's suited to you. And I think, Luke, you should. I think not that you need to. I think to experience it yourself.
Yeah.
I think you'd be surprised at what it could offer. Yeah, I think for Rob, yeah,
I'm damaged goods.
Yeah. I don't know what I think you would need to take away.
I mean, I think I'm quite vocal of the positiveness
Yeah.
that I got from therapy.
It's
So
really strange though, because earlier you were saying you're all negative, but you can be positive with everyone else, just not in yourself.
We can't hear you, Luke, because you're not holding your
Oh.
mic.
Because earlier you said you was really negative, but with everyone else you can be positive.
what do you mean? What I can say positive things to other people?
But
Mm.
earlier you said you struggle, and Sarah's even pointed out you struggle to
Oh yeah, I can't see
be
it.
positive. The cup's always half empty. That way around. Yeah, the cup's
Yeah.
half empty.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Where with everyone else you can say it's 3/4 full.
yeah.
Well, that's not maths.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just an
Your
observation.
face.
I
then.
think there's a
No, but that is a massive thing, and Sarah has said that to me.
yeah,
That it is, if it's about me, it's negative. Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
maybe something to talk about in therapy.
Counselling.
maybe, maybe. Yeah, I said I'd love to do therapy. I think that's why I mentioned about America earlier on, because I would love it to be. I know it is accessible, but just maybe even more accessible.
Maybe it's a different style
Maybe.
of what you're seeing or exposed. I don't know what you're watching American wise.
Yeah,
But it's
I
very
think it's just the
different
perception of it. There's nothing specific I'm watching.
Bill.
I just think. I just,
She
that
was
is
a
a
lawyer.
poll. What is
She
that?
was a lawyer.
Dr. Phil. is it?
But we see it on films and sitcoms and all that. But I'd have to ask friends at work that are from America and stuff. But is that actually what it's like?
What you
Yeah,
tend to see in
yeah.
like American films and stuff is psychoanalysis, which is very much the therapist telling you who you are and what you're like,
Right.
which is very different.
Yeah, I wouldn't want them doing that.
That's what you tend to see. So like the therapy that obviously I offer is you're working that out for yourself,
yeah.
which is in my
So
eyes, a little bit
that's
more
what I
powerful.
had before when I had therapy. Yeah.
Yeah. So more of that,
Mm.
because again, it kind of gives you the power to figure those answers out for yourself,
Yeah.
rather than me going, "You're like this because of this, this, and this reason."
Yeah. It's not your opinion.
Take
It's
this
my.
medicine.
Yeah,
It's my opinion on
yeah.
my actions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rob, why low queer counselling?
As in why pick it?
Yep.
Well, I think from kind of what I said about Blown, from the whole time I've known him, he's a naturally gifted listener, but also naturally gifted at pushing you, as you just said, to figure out what you need to say. So many times we've sat in a car and I've bitched and moaned about someone or something, but he hasn't said anything. I've just had the medium to share and resolve of whatever I was getting to.
Brilliant.
So
Same to you, Luke. Why low queer counselling?
I've seen the positive impact by my wife, mainly, let's say, via hypnotherapy, and I think a bit of counselling as well within that was there.
Yeah, a little bit.
And even with my wife and he's my best friend, he's still not told me what has been done, what has said. As he's completely
Professional.
in that environment. And then likewise, other kind of family members that I've seen massive difference to their life. So yeah, I've seen firsthand how well he works. I just don't want to go to him.
I'm going to edit that bit out.
And you can use those as testimonials.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Any closing questions, boys?
why are you low-key counselling?
Why me?
Yeah.
I wouldn't use it. No.
wait. Well, that's good. Rich, why would you go low-key counselling?
Because he lives around the corner.
Go again.
The person-centered approach.
Yeah.
And the honesty and time and space. And I'm not saying that because you are a friend. I'm saying that because as a professional, I've seen the impact you've had on multiple different people, not just me and the people sitting around in this room. Yeah, I would always, and I don't just promote a friend because it's a friend. No, if you were shit, that's
Well,
it.
like we say, like your personality is what you are. So if
Yeah.
you didn't do that very well, then you wouldn't be a friend, kind of thing.
Now you've got to look down the camera. And why locally cancelling?
I'm not doing that.
No, is that too much? No,
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate you.
we appreciate you, Mike.
You're
Thank
right.
you for
Thank
letting us
you.
interview you.
You're welcome. I enjoyed it.
Now let's get out of this shithole.
Wow.
Thanks for listening to Between the Rolls with me, Michael Blown. If you've got any thoughts, feedback, or questions about today's episode, I'd love to hear from you. You can reach me by email at loquicounselling@outlook.com. That's LOQUI counselling@outlook.com, or through my website, www.loquicounselling.co.uk, or on social media at loquicounselling and hypnotherapy. If you've enjoyed the conversation, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might relate. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time on Between the Rolls.